years following the departure of Merlin from Camelot, Arthur felt the pressures of ruling his kingdom more deeply than ever before. Yet in his old mentor's absence, the king learned to rely instead on the strength and wise counsel of his valiant knights. Among the members of the Round Table, Gawain, Arthur's nephew, had earned distinction. Yet it was one quest in particular that solidified Gawain's reputation as one of Arthur's greatest knights, a magical quest that tested him most grievously and brought him dangerously close to destruction. It all began at Christmas time in Camelot. While snow blanketed the world outside, the noble lords and ladies of Arthur's court gathered in the castle's great hall for 15 days of singing, dancing, and feasting.
We gather here today to celebrate the birth of our holy Lord. Ladies, our godless will meet.
A tremendous crash interrupted Arthur's words. Every head in the hall turned to the entryway, where hurried shouts and the sound of clattering hoofbeats were ringing out.
What is that racket? Who dared feast?
A colossal figure on horseback barreled into the room, knocking aside the men-at-arms who tried to bar his way. It was a knight full as big as a giant, and every bit of him was green. His enormous hands, his snarling face, his ratty beard, and his glittering shirt. Even his massive steed was green, and at its rider's spurring, it bounded up onto the round table and galloped toward the king's seat. Platters flew to the sides as guests fell back from their seats in surprise, inches from the tearing hooves of the mount.
Go!
Protect the king!
King Arthur rose and drew Excalibur.
Oh, 9 hours to stop!
The Green Knight reined up, only feet from the king, and let out an earth-shattering laugh.
Greetings of the season, small knights.
If you've come to fight, we will readily oblige you.
Emerald eyes of the giant shone gleefully.
Nonsense. This is Christmas. I will not fight on this holy occasion. As you can see, I wear no armor and I bear the holly of peace.
He held out a sprig of holly clutched in his fist.
Instead, I bring a game, a challenge for anyone brave enough to take it. Who will step forward?
There was a pause. The knight looked at one another out of the corner of their eyes.
This man, or whatever he is, has issued a challenge. Will no one take it?
Well, I would, sire, but his entrance is kind of intimidating. There's no telling what kind of wicked challenge he might propose.
You know, I would volunteer if I could, but I will back out.
I have heard tales of the brave knights of the Round Table, but all I find here are a bunch of cowering maids.
Stand it no longer.
Fine, I accept your challenge because nobody else will.
The Green Knight spurred his horse to jump from the round table. He dismounted and strode toward the king, holding aloft a massive axe for all to see.
Here is my game. Take this axe and strike me upon my neck.
He calls that a game?
I will be glad to. It would teach you some manners.
But know this, once you have dealt your blow, I have the right to return it.
Arthur opened his mouth to reply.
Wait!
Gawain rose from his seat.
Uncle, let me take your place. There is some trick in this challenge. My life is no matter, but if you were lost, Britain would be lost as well.
The puny knight has a good point.
I'm not afraid.
I know, but it is our only duty to protect you. How could we live with ourselves if you just lost your life?
Gawain, your bravery puts the bravery of all others to shame.
The other knights looked at one another sheepishly.
You may play the Green Knight's game in my place.
Gawain came forward and faced the grinning knight.
Kind of runty, aren't you? Ha! Just remember, if I am not slain, I will surely slay you.
Bring it forth. I will feed your head to dogs.
The Green Knight offered up the humongous axe and kneeled as Gawain took up the weapon.
Take the axe, strike hard and fast. Make sure you do it with great skill or your death will be sure.
Gawain strained to raise the weapon above his head. The Green Knight bared his neck, toying absent-mindedly with his beard, unconcerned with the coming death.
This knight is insane.
Producing a victorious cry, Gawain brought the blade down with all his might.
Ah!
His stroke sliced neatly, severing flesh, meat, and bone. Green blood sprayed in all directions, and the knight's head dropped heavily to the floor. There was a pause. The severed head of the knight started to howl with laughter, its eyes rolling gleefully in its head. Flapping up on its chin, the head gnashed and lunged toward those nearby.
Right.
The ladies swooned at the sight of the demon face, and their lords rushed forward to protect them. Then a new wonder shook them all. The headless body of the Green Knight stood up. Gripping the severed head by the hair, the corpse lifted it up before the stunned face of Gawain.
You have a year, knight. Seek the Green Chapel on New Year's Day. There I shall meet you and do to you as you have done to me. Only I doubt you will be able to keep your head as well as I have. Hee hee.
The ghoulish face winked.
Until then, sweet dreams.
Cradling its head like a newborn babe, the knight remounted his steed and galloped from the hall. Green mist hung in the air where the specter had been. A stunned silence filled the room.
What was that? No man of flesh and blood could have survived such a thing.
You must be some kind of ghost or ghoul, but I do not fear the grave.
Fool or not, in a year you must face it. It will come quickly.
Let it come, what do I care? I'll seek this night out. A spirit cannot harm a man of flesh and blood.
But witchcraft does not follow human laws.
The event was mentioned no more, but the merriment of the feast refused to be revived. The green visitor had cast an impenetrable gloom on the festivities. Lent came and went, and with it winter. Spring, summer, and the harvest time played host to many great deeds, but no mind forgot that Gawain would soon have to embark on his promised quest. When the cold once again threatened and the feast of All Saints was at hand, Gawain prepared to leave.
Take care, nephew. Come back in 1 day.
Know this, my king. I will search this land until I find the Green Chapel and face the Green Knight once again. I will not rest until I have succeeded, and I shall return.
Very well then, farewell.